Chapter 11. The Threadmaster Cometh. When Desperaux came to, when he woke up, he heard the drum. His father was beating a rhythm that had much more boom and much less tat. Together, Lester and the drum produced an ominous sound that went something like this. Boom, 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 tat. Boom, 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 tat. "Make way for the thread!" cried a mouse who was pushing a wooden spool of red thread through the crowd. "Make way for the thread!" Boom, boom, tat, went the drum. "To the dungeon!" shouted the mice. Desperaux lay on his back, blinking his eyes. How, he wondered, had things gone so terribly wrong? Wasn't it a good thing to love? In the story, in the book, love was a very good thing. Because the knight loved the fair maiden, he was actually able to rescue her. They lived happily ever after. It said so in the book. They were the last words on the page. Happily ever after. Happily. Desperaux was certain that he had read exactly those words time and time again. Lying on the floor with the drum beating and the mice shouting and the Threadmaster calling out, "Make way! Make way!" Desperaux had a sudden, chilling thought. Had some other mouse eaten the words that spoke the truth? Did the knight and the fair maiden really not live happily ever after? Reader, do you believe that there's a such thing as happily ever after? Or, like Desperaux, have you, too, begun to question the possibility of happy endings? "Happily ever after," whispered Desperaux. "Happily ever after," he said again as the spool of thread came to a stop beside him. "The thread, the thread, the thread," murmured the mice. "I'm sorry," said the mouse behind the thread, "but I have to ask you to stand up. I have to do my job." Desperaux got slowly to his feet. "On your hind legs, please," said the Threadmaster. "It's the rules." Desperaux stood on his hind legs. "Thank you," said the mouse. "I appreciate it." While Desperaux watched, the Threadmaster unwound a length of red thread from the spool and tied a loop. "Just enough for the neck," muttered the mouse. "No more, no less. That's what the last Threadmaster taught me. Enough thread for the neck." He looked up at Desperaux and then back at the loop of thread. "And you, my friend, have a small neck." The Threadmaster raised his arms and put them around Desperaux's neck. He leaned in close, and Desperaux smelled celery. He could feel the Threadmaster's breath in his ears as he worked at tightening the thread. "Is she beautiful?" the Threadmaster whispered. "What?" said Desperaux. "Shh. Is the princess beautiful?" "The Princess P?" said Desperaux. "Yes. She is lovely beyond all imagining," said Desperaux. "Just right," the Threadmaster said. He drew back, nodded his head. "A lovely princess just so, like a fairy tale. And you love her, as a knight loves a maiden. You love her with a courtly love, a love that is based on bravery and courtesy and honor and devotion. Just so." How do you know that?" Desperaux said. How do you know about fairy tales?" "Shh!" The mouse leaned in close, and Desperaux smelled celery again. "Be brave, friend," whispered the Threadmaster. "Be brave for the princess." Then he stepped back, turned, and shouted, "Fellow mice! The thread has been tied around his neck. The thread has been knotted." A roar of approval went up from the crowd. "Yeah, yeah." Desperaux squared his shoulders. He had a decision to make. He would do as the Threadmaster suggested. He would be brave for the princess. Even if, reader, could it be true? There was no such thing as happily ever after. And this is a picture. It says, "Just enough for the neck," muttered the mouse. "No more, no less."